Okay, so it is time to actually test out support Mualani. This is a team that honestly I'm not too well versed in, and I don't really know how I would go about using this team. Because what I would do with this team is I would go ahead and use Mualani probably first. However, because I have Fiorina, I don't want to use her first, so I don't really know where my actual Mualani is gonna come in here. I don't. And also Thrilling Tales, you absolutely don't want to use her first. So really kind of interested in seeing how this actually functions and how easy it may be to go ahead and just have maybe something happen here. Now, all right, so what I'm going to see here is how much damage bonus do we have? We didn't get anything. So we would have hydro and cryo damage bonus here. What we are getting right now is purely just the, damage from, What we have right now is that was just the damage from the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers is what it was. So I'm not really too confident into what I'm supposed to be doing here. Okay, so again, I don't really know how this is going to work out. I really don't see it. I mean, let's go ahead and do this. And yeah, maybe that works. Maybe. Let's go ahead and see. We do have 86% damage bonus here, meaning we did get it here. But I died. Great. Thanks. Let's go ahead. Let's start this rotation off again. I'm going to just try and do it, how I did before. Yeah, grab that and then a Q. We'll see that. The Q will do damage. And then, I'd like to use the character, but, I don't like Mualani. Just flat out, I don't like her because of the way that this is inconsistent. Well, it might not be inconsistent, but as far as I'm concerned, it's been inconsistent every single time. The reason for that being is because, well, Mualani, cryo aura can disappear, and if the cryo aura disappears, then it's inconsistent because you weren't able to actually get the particles that you thought you were getting, or not particles, but the reaction you thought you were getting. You're not actually getting it, which is a huge issue. So, yeah, I don't know how much I like actually support Mualani just because it's inconsistent. And I mean, who am I going to remove? Am I going to remove Fiorina? No, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? At what point would that be a logical scenario where I would do that? There would not be a logical scenario where I would do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get this going. And yeah, so I'm assuming that it's a lot easier. There's got to be something that goes on here. So 100,000, not bad. And then, still at 100,000. So I do think that this is correct. This is correct. 200,000. I mean, this is some of the highest damage numbers that I've seen from my Skirk ever. Yeah, I mean, when it works, right, 74% cryo damage bonus, you can see that it is actually effective right now. Right now, we only have the 28% because the 28% here is still active. However, the 12% went away because it was only for 15 seconds. So we did get it. And I mean, that is some of the highest damage I've seen out of my Skirk. Simply put, that is some of the highest damage I've seen out of my Skirk. Because, let's be honest here, what am I getting rid of? I'm getting rid of this character. Now, this character, she has, 30% cryo damage bonus and a little bit of res shred. Just a little bit, right? However, that's kind of where it ends. She has her icy quills, but the icy quills go away so fast that, buffs that last longer are generally going to just allow you to have better damage overall. And don't count out that Mualani's doing some decent damage here too, because my Mualani build, I don't know how good it actually is, but it's 80% crit rate with 113% crit damage. This is actually just my Shieldin build, if you didn't know. Literally, this is just my Shieldin build put onto my Mualani. We can go ahead and look at the, timepiece. It's legit just Shieldin build. That's all it is. So, I am very impressed, actually, by the way that ended up, right? While I, didn't like it because it was inconsistent, I think it is consistent. It's just I don't like it, again, because it feels inconsistent. It just feels wrong because it's using, hydro before cryo, there's a good chance that you don't have the cryo activated. However, it seems like as soon as you go into Mualani, if you press your E skill, immediately go into Mualani, press your, and then click, right? You basically just do this, right? Immediately, then you will get the reaction and it will work. So she does work. So yeah, she does work. It's not bad. And overall, I would say I definitely do think that support Mualani does work genuinely. Is it better than Shenhe? From what I saw, yes. Actually, yes, it is. you know, we have Thrilling Tales, which is 48% attack, and then we have 40% damage bonus. From what I saw, Mualani is actually in the best Skirk team. It just is, you know? There's not really much else to argue about it. It just is. At least on my Skirk, right? Because my Skirk is more heavily invested, so giving her more of a hyper carry role by buffing her up more is going to end up making her better. However, I don't know necessarily how much of that matters. Like, I say giving her a hyper carry role, Shenhe just kind of doesn't buff as much, right? She does buff, you know, at Miss Coffee, but I don't think it's that much. And also, it is important to note that, you know, she isn't applying any extra hydro here, which I think is allowing us to keep high cryo resonance up. Now, let me go ahead and check. Let's go ahead and redo all of this again. So yeah, let's go ahead and redo all this again. And we should see. I didn't want to do that. I'll do this in a minute. Well, that's it. That's annoying. Yeah, we didn't get it then. Yeah, did we? We didn't get it. Yeah, we didn't. But did we? Nope. So again, because of Furina's, you know, annoyance of, you know, having that issue. But I mean, you can see the difference between, so 120. So we gain 80,000 damage on that final 5th hit, right? So that's pretty insane. Just from Mualani's buffs alone, we're gaining that much damage. Really, really astonishing work, honestly. So what we're going to go ahead and we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and get damage here, but we don't want it to, okay, yeah, that. Then we'll pop the burst. I haven't actually seen how much damage the burst does. 160,000, not bad. And then, yeah, I mean, you can see how much damage she's doing. 220,000. That's an extra 100,000. Dude, she is really good, and it's not interrupting us with the cryo resonance at all. This is just the best Skirk team I can make. Like, you know, I won't say definitively that it's the best Skirk team, but Mualani is better than Shenhe here. That's crazy. Like, genuinely, my Skirk with this team, like, she is consistently hitting for almost 5 million per rotation. Like, that, it's insane. Like, Mualani genuinely is the best support I have for this slot on Skirk, because her buffs actually last. That's insane. What? Like, for reference, let me go ahead and let me do a Shenhe rotation. Let me do a Shenhe rotation where I show you guys how much damage, like, I can get off with Shenhe. And again, it didn't affect our cryo resonance, meaning we had, oh, actually, no, we didn't. No, we did. Miss Coffee is cryo, so that worked. But let me go ahead and show you guys what Shenhe looks like, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll do this, and we'll go ahead, we'll have the burst with you, and then Shenhe here, oh yeah, we're doing good damage. 160 on her day. Oh my dude, even with the quills, the damage is just lower. The buff is just and now he's shaking his butt. Dude, I think we saw enough. 160. Well, actually, he probably didn't have the quills at that point. We had done so many hits, right? Yeah, so probably didn't have the quills. But I mean, man, like, we were hitting 220. Yeah, Shenhe, she just doesn't have it. She just doesn't have it. That's crazy. So, like, for me, I feel like it is definitely because I have her C1, right? So, you know, I have extra damage here. You know, I also have this. And I also have her signature weapon. I am still on the fence though, right? Maybe, oh, well, that would make sense. Yeah, because Emily's using Calamity. Hold on. Now we have to retest. And because Mualani's artifact set gives her energy back, I feel like it's easier to get her burst than Shenhe's burst, even though we're on a full cryo team. Like, that's insane. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to try this as, you know, easily as possible. Now, we don't have to worry about reacting, right? So we can do whatever we want, really. So 50,000 there. We see that. Yeah. And then, yeah, we'll go here. Yeah, 168. And then we have that. It's just like the overall damage on all these hits is so much lower. That's the thing, right? Yeah, we didn't even, like, yeah. I would have to say it definitely seems like at the bare minimum they're even. Definitely. I mean, Mualani, I would absolutely have to just say, you know, she seems at the bare minimum even, or at the bare, like, yeah, bare minimum. And then if you're not the bare minimum, then I would give it the edge to Mualani. That's crazy. That's gonna be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.